I'm Claire Dooley. You're watching CHGTV, and this is the Geoengineering Report, where we identify the threat in the skies. Is the weather we see a natural occurrence, or are we experiencing something more? How can we tell if what is falling out of the sky comes from nature or a cloud seeding operation? Our expert Dane Wigington explains how instant snowstorms are created.
Let's get the first headline up. Deadly super fog threatens Super Bowl. People said it smelled like chemicals. A lot of people saying it smelled like chemicals. So Dane, what is it and where's it coming from? What was that all about, the deadly super fog?
This is chemical ice nucleation cloud seeding operations. When you have surface temperatures that are radically warming, and then you try to chemically cool that, you create a cold, dense layer of air that sinks to the surface, you end up with a lot of fog. And that's exactly what we see happening. So what do we see happening after the New Orleans blizzards and the Florida blizzards and the Texas blizzards? We went right back to record high. Texas pushing nearly 100 degrees, and now they're going to drop that right back down again to record lows. What's wrong with people? How can they possibly think this is normal?
Yeah, I mean, I got a lot of calls from the people in Florida recently saying the fog was so thick, and you could hear it. They were so sick from it, and they were scared as well. It scared them to go out.
Why wouldn't they be? And again, we're talking about, quote, snowstorms, named snowstorms, because that makes it more theatrical. It makes it more easy to sensationalize. With moisture being fed into those storms from the record warm Gulf of Mexico, how in the world can that possibly happen? And in between the record warm flows of moisture flowing from the south toward the north, we have ice storms because the chemically nucleated material is hitting the surface before setting up and freezing. So now we have the so-called weather experts that are simply script readers protecting their paychecks and pensions. I don't know how they look themselves in the mirror, Polly. I really don't. No different than the medical industrial complex that pushes safe and effective for products that are anything but. It's the same exact scenario. Human beings that seem to have lost any sense of honor. You see all the car pileups, Polly? Have you seen all the massive traffic accidents that are happening with this chemical snow? We've tested this material, so we're not guessing. So within this material, there's also surfactants, not just the usual elements in climate engineering, aluminum, barium, strontium, manganese, polymer fibers, graphene, but there's also surfactants.
We tested for surfactants. Snowfall particularly is very high in surfactants. There should be no surfactant in snowfall. Why would it be there? And then if you look into some of the patent materials that they have, especially for when you talk about graphene and some of these other nanoparticles, if you put them in solution, they will coagulate, they will stick together. And the one way to keep them separated, to keep them apart, to keep them dispersed, is by putting surfactant in the mixture. And that's what they are using to keep things to flow the way they do.
Surfactants. And surfactants are used to keep the particles from coagulating when they're dispersed from the aircraft. Surfactants are what makes soap soap. It's what makes soap so slippery. It's in our frozen material now. It is incredibly slick, and people who thought they knew how to drive on snow now don't. It's literally like soaked snow. And again, Paulie, we also have the baseball and softball size hail happening all the time now. That's chemical ice nucleation, so much so that insurance companies are canceling policy because of those elements, hail alone, because it's off the scale now. So again, this is all out winter weather warfare.
Dane, how long has this been going on for, this bioweapons, biowarfare on the innocent American or worldwide population? I mean, this isn't in the last few years or COVID. This has been going on for some time. Am I right?
Global climate intervention operations, based on all available data, were deployed immediately after World War II. That's how long it's been going on over the polar regions. So, Paulie, when you look at the polar regions, you think of skies that are just this opaque, overcast, and no feature at all. We see that in the polar regions. That's not natural either. We've seen it for so long, we think it's natural. Now we're seeing it in the lower latitudes because this solar radiation management, that is the science title of what's occurring in our skies, the intentional spraying of light scattering particles to blot out the sun, which makes these featureless skies often rainless. So we have a disruption of the hydrological cycle, which cuts rain off to places like LA, the Palisades, those fires, all the other fires that are happening West Coast, Amazon, everywhere else. The repercussions from what they're doing are off the scale. We can speculate on all the agendas and objectives, but these operations, first fully deployed after World War II, ramped up steadily since. And Paulie, the the climate change term, you may remember when they implemented that term. They went away from global warming and went to climate change. When did that happen? That happened in 1998. So after they deployed after World War II, there was a leveling out of global temperatures because the negative effects had not kicked in yet, starting with the destruction of the ozone layer. So scientists were puzzled as to why the temperatures weren't continuing to escalate. After the mid-70s, there were some scientists saying they didn't know why. They thought we might be entering some other era of Earth's climate because the temperatures weren't escalating. But then the negative effects kicked in. Temperatures began to rise again in 1998, warmest year ever recorded to that time. That's when they implemented the climate change term. Why? Because they knew they would be chemically nucleating, as they're doing now, causing these radical temperature whiplash cooldowns. And they needed a term that would make people believe that that was somehow an expected result of a warming climate. That couldn't be further from the truth. These flash cooldowns are engineered, period. That's not anything to do with climate change at all. It's climate engineering, period. I'm not denying the planet's damage. I want to make that clear. We've damaged the planet, no question. Climate engineering making an already bad situation far worse, and it's being used as a weapon of war, Polly. And we see these flash cooldowns being conducted, these operations over agricultural regions, which devastates them, wipes them out. Last 10 years in a row in California, everything starts to bloom and bud, and it's happening right now. Everything blooming, budding, and they freeze it out. They'll flash freeze it out and kill almost everything, dropping production down to almost nothing. So between flash freeze, flash flood, flash drought, we're seeing an absolute targeting of agricultural regions.
I'd love to express our appreciation for you guys sending comments via email to us. We love hearing from you, so please reach out via goodmorning@chd.tv. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you next time on CHD TV.